Hello, welcome to Invictus. We've got this 2015 Porsche 911 Targa 4S. This is the 991.1 generation, finished in this beautiful jet black metallic, complemented with a 19-inch 911 Carrera Classic alloys. What I absolutely love about the 991.1 is that since 1993, in 2014, 2015 was the first time Porsche went back to that classic shaped 911 with that beautiful glass at the back, the soft top in the middle, complemented with this wider body 911 Targa shape. And this has got all the spec you could potentially want. From the sports exhaust, I love this LED from one end of the rear light to the other end of the rear light, and overall this is an absolutely dream specification. From the sports steering wheel, sports seats plus, which are like 12-way electrically adjustable, the sports exhaust button, the sports button there. This also has the extended leather package. Rather than finding plastic on the dash, you've got the extended leather, and you've got cruise control, heated front seats, also Bose, and if you're, Burmester, the premium sound system, not Bose. In terms of an optional, this would cost circa £3,000. So if you are looking for a very well-maintained 911 Targa 4S, this is currently available for sale at Invictus Motors, Invictus Porsche. It's ready to go, it's had no expenses spared, and again, as the advert says, only 2 former keepers. It's done just under 60,000 miles at 59,184 miles at the moment, as it stands, at a price of £57,000 for something that is, I would say, a classic, future classic as it stands right now, because they don't make them like this anymore with a 3.8 litre naturally aspirated engine. And I think overall, this has had every bit of spec you can possibly see somebody throw at it, other than the Chrono Sport Plus package, because the Chrono Sport Plus package makes it 20mm lowered, and naturally, especially when it's a Grand Tourer, you don't want it to be a stiffer chassis rather than that slightly more comfortable shape. What we need to do next is to take you up for a proper spin and explain to you the way it sounds, the way it drives, the way it handles, and ultimately do another section to the same video showing you how this Targa roof opens and also closes. And that would be it for this video. But if you want to head over to the Invictus Motors channel, we'll have a much longer video also showing paperwork for this 911 Targa. But it's got everything complete, and let's just get cracking. Just starting it up, it's beautiful. It being that 3.8 litre naturally aspirated, directly you get that burble as soon as you start it up. In terms of just the car has obviously been started previously, but in terms of just the sound it produces from when it's sort of normal temperature without the sports exhaust or the sport sort of button on, this is what it sounds like. And now with the sports button pressed, sports valves opened up. The burbles and sort of the grunt that you get from it, this is when you're stationary. Imagine at 4,000 or 5,000 RPM, when you actually open it up a little bit, what a sensational sound it is. And unfortunately, I don't have a microphone on the rear exhaust and the drone to follow me to really illustrate what it sounds like. So you've got to do with the enthusiasm that I have towards it in terms of the way it sounds and it handles. So let's get it onto the main road. Now onto the open road. I'm still under the village speed limit of under 30 miles an hour, and it's fantastic the way the car sounds. And it being a Targa, you're in this really safe space inside the cabin. And my colleague Adam, who's also our cameraman here, before I even got into driving this car, says, I know why one of our colleagues is so in love with this 911 Targa 4S. And I said, why is that? And he's like, because it's such a nice car. And it's genuinely the truth. And no matter what I say and how much I sort of drive it, explain it in words, I think seeing it in person is an absolute work of art. It just takes your breath away. Now, in terms of performance figures, this produces an impressive 395 brake horsepower, which is massively understated by Porsche from the 3.8 litre naturally aspirated flat 6-boxer engine. Somewhere at the beginning of the video I said it produces 420 Newton meters of torque. As a matter of fact, it's 440 Newton meters of torque. And the top speed is an incredible 183 miles per hour. I mean, you don't really need to get it to that level of a top speed, but should you want to, it's got the capacity to do that. And the 0 to 62 is possible in 4.4 seconds. But these cars are really all about the way they handle and also the way they sound. And you don't really need to give it a lot of beans to hear it sound and to make it gurgle, and the burbles and the grunting and the visceral rawness that you feel and that you hear from the engine and from the exhaust, because it's ready to offer that sensational experience from the get-go. And something that shouldn't be missed is this incredible now second generation PDK transmission in the 911, because the first generation introduced in the 997.2 in 2009, yes, it's good, but this is where it's taken a life of its own. And where it's taken a life of its own is that it's complemented with a 3.8 litre naturally aspirated engine, and for the first time tweaked and performing and optimized to be a match made in heaven. And in terms of reliability, consistency of the PDK gearbox, let's just put it to you that the GT3 and the GT3 RS of this generation Porsche 911s you could not buy in a manual transmission, because the PDK's dual clutch, dual Kupplungsgetriebe transmissions were the future, and these were the only gearboxes available in the GT3 and the GT3 RS in this generation Porsche 911s. And in the next chapter of this video, I'd like to now move on to talking about the Targa roof. One of the most awe-inspiring thing, inspirational things, just from a design and creative point of view, it's got to be the Targa roof. And they've gone back in the Porsche 991.1 generation. That generation launched at the Frankfurt Motor Show in October 2011. Obviously, the Targas came in 2014. They went back to that soft top in the middle on the Targas, and then you've got the proper old school glass at the back with this frame here, the B pillar and this frame going across, giving it back the shape, the feel, and everything that the Targa should really be about. Because I think for far too long, between 1993, circa 1993 to almost 2012, we were so used to seeing the 997.1 with a full-on glass roof that we called the Targa. Yes, the glass roof opened and that back lid on the 997.1's opened, but nothing was ever as close as possible to what this was able to do. to me, this sequence of the roof lifting, all this mechanism opening up, this glass coming all the way to the back, putting away that soft top roof, bang in the middle, it's something else. It is a work of art. From an engineering point of view, it's an achievement that I don't think many manufacturers out there can perfect like Porsche have perfected. And just seeing some of the hydraulic struts there with it allowing that big glass roof, that big lump at the back, and allowing it to sit back all this way, it's engineered so well that I would argue that it's almost over-engineered. And that's what will serve this 911 Targa in the future better than anything else, because it just means it will potentially outlast the car. And as long as you stay on top of the servicing and the maintenance on it, it is genuinely something else. The silhouette, the way it looks, it's an absolute work of art. And seeing just the glass, the way it is, and I think what makes it even better is that this is the Targa 4S. You've got the 3-litre naturally aspirated, you've got the sports sports twin tailpipes, the quad exhaust system. And when you are inside this cabin space, in this soft top Targa, I don't think there's a better place anywhere else from a lifestyle point of view, from owning, whether it's a classic or a Porsche that is modern, whatever it may be. This is a difficult place and atmosphere to be, because ultimately when the sun's out, when the weather is the way it is, it's heaven. And imagine for a moment you're somewhere in the south of France, or you're on some beautiful, gorgeous Swiss roads, or wherever you are in Europe, or you're doing a road trip, even perhaps in the UK. It just simply does not get better than this. Nothing comes anywhere close to the experience inside being one of these Targas. In terms of service history, this is the file for the 911 Targa. It's parked out there at the front. That here, my friends, is the service book, so I'll quickly run you through this. Mr. Kashif, he's owned it since July 2018. For the majority of the ownership, we've basically looked after the vehicle for him, and in some parts by Porsche. Obviously, a little bit of a bio about him, and also in terms of the service history, Porsche Centre East London, and then obviously this is the breakdown. It's actually, since that 7th service, it's had a service on the 11th of June, as well as an MOT as well. So it's had a fresh new major service and MOT. That's a bit of the ownership details. This cover sheet will get updated at some point. So there is an 8th service, and I'll show you there's an invoice in the file. And this is the details of Mr. Kashif. As you can see, he's owned it since the 5th of July 2018. It's HPI clear. There's no adverse data on the HPI. This is the spec list on this 911. So some of the Porsche invoices as well. They're here. The health check, all Porsche health checks, etc. And this is the invoice from 2018 with what's it had in terms of work. Another invoice from 2019 with the work it had, etc. Again, another Porsche invoice with a health check. This is from 2020, 2021, 2022, 23. These are some of the MOT certificates. And this is the last MOT. There were no advisories, done on the 11th of June 2025 at 59,164 miles. And this is the big major service where it's had the spark plugs, the drive belt, the brake fluid, and the inspection was done. It's mint. There is no issues, nothing that needs doing. It's a breakdown of all the works there. And this is the service at Porsche Centre East London, and basically with the invoices and some of the works he's done at the main dealer, we've then looked after it since he's had it. So that's that. These are all the stamps and all the works we've done, backed up by the invoices. And then this is the pages for the brake fluid. and it's just had a brake fluid change as well. So that's everything on this 911 Targa. If it's something that you are interested in, feel free to reach out to us. I hope I've answered all of your questions. This is quite a rare car in the sense that it's got a very low number of owners. It's in 2 former keepers. Sorry, I'll just show it to you again. 2 former keepers. And then obviously the baby's parked right here, and it's ready to be enjoyed and loved by its next owner. And now the best way to actually wrap this video up is to have the roof back on. And again, it's beautiful to see that mechanism, that roof opening and closing. I just can't get enough of it. And I'm one of those people, even though we've got actually 3 of these 911 Targas in stock at the moment, I still go on YouTube watching these videos of these 911 Targas, especially with that roof mechanism. And every time for the past 7-8 years when we've had one of these in stock, I've just wanted to repeatedly just open, close the roof, open, close the roof. It's, to me, a work of art, and it doesn't get better than that. So ultimately, I think I want to wrap this video up by the roof closed, and I will push that sports exhaust button on, and say nothing, but just let the car sing for you for a little bit. So thank you for watching the video, and just enjoy this peaceful ending to this video.